But it's a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
I've enjoyed watching you, and I was like, the man, the myth.
Right,
I'm gonna meet him
in the flesh.
in the flesh. I was watching a video of you noodling with a couple of your friends.
Yes.
In the river, and I was like, dang, that would be fun. I don't know. I'm like, that just looks like that first chomp though.
Oh man,
it's got to be an adrenaline rush.
Yeah, it was a bucket list thing for me, and I met some friends, some fellow YouTubers in Alabama, and I get to go every summer now. But yeah, it's kind of a rush, you know.
And that girl was doing it, and she was just right there, like that thing was slapping her in the face, and she just had that fish up like that. I was like, "Go, girl! Now it's amazing."
She's kind of the, I don't want to say the innovator. There was people doing that before her, but she's definitely the one that put noodling on the map lately.
Really?
Yeah, Hannah Barron. But yeah, she's a fellow YouTuber. We've got some common sponsors, but it's just one of those cool things I enjoy doing in the summer.
Yeah.
My fishing trip.
I bet. Well, especially in the summer when it's hot and it's nice and cool in the water. But yeah, you were going under there with your hat and your glasses. I was like, how did you even see that thing?
Yeah. Trying to make it, yeah. I mean, I got to stay Dale even when I'm underwater.
Yeah, that's right. Well, thanks for meeting me, and that's gracious of you to drive all the way up here.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah.
You're Dale Brisby. You don't need to be driving places.
Yeah.
So,
well, on my way back, I'm going down to a bull ride in Stephenville, so we're just kind of making the rounds today.
Okay.
So
good. Well, I was in Waco yesterday, and then Frisco today, and now here.
Yeah.
I'm about to go back home. I live in Tennessee now. I'm sorry. We could say all this during our interview if you want. We could talk about whatever, or
I mean, we're already rolling.
Okay, good. All right, cool.
So
cool.
But
let me brush my beard.
There you go.
I gotta be as handsome as Dale.
Is your travel for the for your show, your podcast?
No. My travel has been. Well, let's see. I just went to Waco. I was speaking at there was a really important Central Texas fundraising event that I was speaking at, and it was it's called Council for Life, and it's these people that raise all of this money to help support women's pregnancy centers all throughout Texas. And I was there, so I got to visit the ground zero for M&Ms, Snickers, Starburst, and Skittles. Like the world gets their Skittles and their Snickers and M&Ms from Waco, Texas.
Right.
And yeah, a lot of cool history there in Waco. The Branch Davidians, remember David Koresh?
Oh yeah.
And all that. They got some funky, weird stuff. And Magnolia, Chip, and Joanna are there.
Right.
And then last night I go and meet one of the heroes of my life. I've been wanting to meet him for 30 years, and I've listened to him for 3 decades. And his name was Chuck Swindoll. Have you ever heard of that name?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So Chuck Swindoll is a minister, and when I was 17 years old, a committed atheist, I stepped into a church for the first time. Not because I was looking for God. I was looking for a really cute girl that I wanted to date. And I met her on the set of my show, Growing Pains, back in the 80s. And I heard a message that forever changed my life. And because of that, I met my wife. I have my children, and my whole career and everything went in a different direction. And I've told the story about what that man said from the pulpit when I was 17 years old that destroyed my atheism hundreds of times, but I've never told it to him, and I've never sat in his presence personally. And last night I got to do that for the first time. And when I told that story to him, I mean, he didn't know all the details of it.
Right.
I just lost it. It hit me like a Mack truck. You're the man that I tell everybody about for the last 30 years.
Dang.
And you changed my life. And you went on about your life, had no idea what you did to me. And I got to thank you in person. It was cool.
That is cool. Did you know you were going to meet him yesterday?
Yeah, I knew I was going to meet him. We had a mutual friend, and I've talked to him over the phone, but I never got to see him in person. He's 91 years old, and he couldn't see me.
Oh, wow.
Because he's got glaucoma, and he was a little hard of hearing. So we'd be talking, but he'd be, so Kirk, And he'd
Oh,
be out looking
dang.
over here while I was over here.
Wow.
You know, his sonar wasn't quite tuning him in, and his eyes definitely weren't. And so when I was tearing up talking about this, he couldn't see any of this or me.
Yeah.
And so it was just super cool to meet a hero at 91 years old, and his mind was as sharp as it's ever been. I was humbled and blown away.
Yeah. That's neat.
Yeah, it was cool, man.
Yeah. So now, I mean, you're going to meet two heroes.
Yeah,
in
and
a
then I
matter of
topped the
24
cherry
hours.
on top with
Dale Brisby,
the world's greatest bull rider.
Yeah, right here. Yeah, Chuck
Yeah.
Swindoll and Dale Brisby. Well, you've got a couple of kids' books out. This one's coming out soon. Built by the Brave.
Yeah.
Is it out already?
It's out already, and it's actually one of 3 books that I did together as a package called America Wins. And Dr. Ben Carson joined with me, and then also athlete Riley Gaines, the swimmer.
Oh, yeah.
Riley Gaines. And the 3 of us each wrote a book, and we've got signed copies and everything. And the idea is kids today are being taught this false narrative that America sucks, that America is a bad country, and you should be ashamed of this country and to be an American because of slavery and all of these kinds of things. And they're not hearing the full story. They're listening to the wrong people who have essentially hijacked public education. And we want parents to be the ones that heroically save the day for their children and for this country by telling them the real story that our country was built not by perfect people, because nobody's perfect. The world was deeply broken, always has been, but by people who are filled with faith. They love God, they love their families, and they love freedom. And they made some amazing advances that provided a nation that now everybody wants to come to. And they break the law to get here because we got more freedom, more opportunity, and prosperity than other nations around the world. And that's the story that parents and grandparents get to tell their children at the dinner table when they're putting them to sleep, because that's where the war is going to be won. It's in our homes with our children.
Yes, sir. Yeah, kids' books it's wild how, I mean, you would think in 2026 that they're not as big of a thing, but they are still a big deal to kids to have their parents read their books to them.
I think you're right. I mean, it's old school, right? It's like kind of like going back to vinyl after you've got your playlist on iTunes. There's something tactile about holding it in your hands. It's like going to church and turning the pages on that Bible. There's something cooler about that than just swiping like you do with a TikTok video. And I think it promotes time with your kids. It's not like, here, kids, watch this while I go answer my texts. It's, here, sit down on my knee or next to me and let me talk to you about what's important. And it gives you time. And then in the back of the book, it's got these activities and questions, discussion starters, so that you can talk with your kids about real things.
Especially when you're trying to keep a kid off a screen.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, they love books. Kids still love books.
I think kids do love books. And, one of the challenges of writing a children's book is that you got to take complicated concepts and make them simple so they understand. Like, how do you explain to a child what freedom is?
Right.
That's actually not an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
And no wonder politics is so complicated, and it's so easy to corrupt because there's so many parts to it that it's hard to just boil it down to the main things. But with a children's book, you have to, which also makes it easier for the parents to really grab hold of the concept. And that's why I like them.
Dang, I love the way you worded that, because I was reading a thing this morning where envy used to be one of the 7 deadly sins, but now they've changed it, and it's very simple what envy is, but they've changed that and now call it social injustice. And so it's like, the politics have made it more complicated, where everybody thinks it's this complicated thing, but it's not, anyhow.
You're right. That is an important insight right there. That's right. It's not, what'd you call it? Social injustice?
Yeah, social injustice, I think is what society calls it these
right.
days. Yeah.
It's not fair that you have something that I don't have. And wait, no, that's called envy.
Right.
That's being envious and covetous and being
Right.
jealous. Be thankful for what you have.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Heaven forbid you just work hard, you know.
There you go.
But
There you go. Yeah, that's right.
how
I got
You
another
were-
one. I got another one. You got my mind spinning down
Yeah,
this
go
road
ahead.
right now. Stealing is a pretty simple concept.
right?
Wait a minute. No, it's not anymore. It's been replaced with redistribution of wealth
There you go. Yeah. I
by
thought
the
you were gonna say-
government.
yeah, I thought you were
who
going
is
to say
the
taxes.
full of angels
Yeah.
who are never corrupt, and they know when you have too much and when it needs to be taken from you
Yeah.
and redistributed to others who have not been treated as fairly.
Right. Yeah. Or who just simply didn't work as hard. But, you know, who am I? I don't know. But it is tough. I read another thing this morning about C.S. Lewis saying that.
Wait a minute. Dale Brisby reads C.S. Lewis?
I love C.S. Lewis.
Dude.
I love C.S.
Do
Lewis.
people know this?
If you listen to the deep tracks of my podcast, usually on the back end, maybe you might, somebody
That's so
might.
cool. Everybody needs to. What a gift his mind
Oh my
is
gosh.
to the world.
Yeah, the Mere Christianity book, specifically the chapter on pride, is what just has completely reframed my walk over the last few years. So
That's a book everybody should read.
right, yeah.
I'm sorry I interrupted you.
Oh,
Go
that's
ahead.
okay. But how he was saying that you being nice, it's better to be a good man than a nice man, because a nice man is trying to be nice to everyone, where a good man will have a boundary of, when he disagrees with someone, that might require him to not necessarily be nice.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's just a lot of people trying to be super nice to everyone.
Yeah.
Which means, like, I don't know, maybe on some level, like a tolerance type behavior, but that just kind of doesn't go against the grain and doesn't cause any commotion. And anyhow, I think that's a troublesome mindset. Now I can't really remember what we were talking about, but as far as politics, like, there's just a lot of people out there that maybe Christians, and trying to find a line between being nice to everyone, but also, following the word, because when you do follow the word, it means you're going to disagree with most of the world.
Yeah. But I think that there's a lot of closeted people that think like you think and think like I think, who would love to speak up and come out of the closet. But the people that came out of the closet a couple of decades ago are now like yelling and screaming so loud, and they've got all of the microphones that it's scaring the people you're talking about, sort of, back into the corners, where they feel like, man, I'm going to get hammered if I talk about what I really believe, and I have to be nice to everybody and accept everything. But as you said, once you, as C.S. Lewis teaches us, once we accept everything, well, then what's the difference between good and bad anymore?
Yes.
Now
sir.
everything's okay, and you can't really say that anything's wrong, but we know instinctively that there are things that are deeply broken in the world that need to be fixed. But if everything's okay, you've eliminated the conversation. So let's talk about good and bad and right and wrong. But now we have to say, well, what's our standard?
Well, when you said Atheist 18, you had been on the set of Growing Pains for a few years by then, right?
Yes. Yeah, since I was 14.
Gotcha. And so you got saved at 18.
Yeah.
And then that was kind of the beginning of, did you kind of stay in the Hollywood scene? And I know that you eventually moved to, Christian films and books and preaching, but it had to have been tough for you to switch from, what maybe could have been a Hollywood career to being someone who's pretty firm in their Christian faith that probably took you away from the Hollywood career.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I had such a unique journey. I never wanted to be an actor. That just sounded stupid to me. Like I was shy. I didn't like getting up in front of people and public speaking. I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be like a surgeon. My mom and dad gave me one of those Invisible Man models for Christmas. It's like that plastic guy where you could see through him, and you painted in the red arteries and the blue veins, and you painted the liver and the lungs, right?
Yeah.
I loved it so much. I thought, man, this is like the coolest thing ever, the way that the body is put together. So I wanted to be a surgeon or a doctor. But when I was 9 years old, my mom had a friend whose son was an actor, and he was putting away money, stashing it into the bank for his college education. And so my mom thought, that sounds like a great idea. She took all of us kids down to see this agent. She signed me up. She signed my little sister Candace up, she played DJ on Full House. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, I did.
But some people don't know we're brother and sister.
Yeah.
Even though we had the same last name, Cameron, Candace Cameron, Kirk Cameron, and people just go, they're like, I didn't even put it. And she signed me up, and I started doing commercials for Fruit Loops cereal and McDonald's, and then I landed the part on Growing Pains. And so I didn't want to be an actor. So when things started to change for me in terms of my values, yes, I began to want to be a part of projects that were like categorically good and promoted light rather than the darkness. But I never felt like I needed to get away from Hollywood, because doors started opening for me to do projects that I really believed in, like a movie called Fireproof. And I played a firefighter, and it was a movie about a guy's life just going up in flames, including his marriage, and being a hero with all of his friends and at work, but at home he was the enemy with his wife. And it wasn't until his father helped him and said, son, the problem is not your wife, it's you. You're selfish. You're full of pride. And when you get your heart right with God, then you can begin to win back the heart of your wife. And she will recognize that she's married to a different man. And those were the kind of projects I wanted to be a part of. So I never really stepped away from Hollywood. Maybe a big career, Leonardo DiCaprio was on Growing Pains. Maybe I could have had a career like him. But at the same time, I recognized there was more than getting an Academy Award. I wanted a life that was rich and full, not just of money and fame, but of a wife and children and grandchildren and joy and peace, so that at the end of the journey, I could say, man, I'm the richest man in the world. And it really doesn't have anything to do with what's in my bank account now. It's the things that matter.
I guess looking back at how soon after, when was Left Behind?
Left Behind, you don't quote me on this, but I think it was back at early 2000s.
Okay. I just remember watching Growing Pains and Full House. But then watching when Left Behind came out, that was a huge encouragement to the Christian community, at least in my eyes, because looking at it, I guess I felt like, and I remember thinking at that time, like, oh man, he made a conscious decision to go a different direction than most actors. Yeah. And I felt like there was such a separation between, what was, and that was even before social media, between like actors and that world and the way the everyday Christian family was living. Like there was, to me, it was so separate. And you were, in my eyes at that time, a pioneer of it's okay to be outspoken about your faith. And I guess I've always seen that as a different path than Hollywood. The way you make it sound like you just made the Hollywood path your own. But I've always just assumed it meant a limitation on certain opportunities because people there don't necessarily want to work with Christians. But you've obviously had these other great opportunities, the homeschool awakening and fireproof and
Yeah, I think what you're saying is true also. There were conscious decisions to say no and to certain things and say yes to other things. There were movie parts. I remember there's a movie called A River Runs Through It. And I think that was Brad Pitt maybe in that movie. And I had an opportunity to play that role. And I wasn't interested in playing it because there were things in the script that I just went against what I thought was right, were good. Not politically, more morally, sexually. And I thought, there's just somebody in my life who is good and has my best interest in mind that I want to follow. And that was God. And, for those who don't have faith in God, but they have faith in their PR expert or their agent or their manager telling them what to do, they're going to do what they say. And that's really kind of what I was doing. I was doing what my director was saying, which was, take the high road, honor me, love other people, consider your children in the future, and your future wife. And man, it's just served me well. He was right.
Yeah. It seems as though now, when you or anybody, myself, make some of those decisions, or they're talked about on the internet, there's a lot more feedback immediately. With
For sure.
with comments and messages and react videos that people can kind of dissect what we've said. Even today, on this podcast, people could do that.
We won't have time to get out of this room before people start talking about all the crazy stuff we said on this show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, especially being outspoken about some of the more controversial topics like abortion, which shouldn't be controversial, but it is. Whatever. How do you navigate kind of the people's opinion nowadays compared to then? Does it affect you?
Honestly, it does affect me. Of course it affects me, unless I have skin and a heart that is made of titanium that just cannot be impacted, which I don't, then of course it's going to be hard for me to hear certain things from certain people, especially if these are people that I look up to, whose opinion carries weight. But I also understand the nature of the internet, and that is, any 35-year-old guy who still is living in his mom's basement and never comes out to see the light of day can just type away on his thumbs as an internet warrior and try to tear you to shreds. Meanwhile, he's not doing anything with his life, and so I understand that I've got to listen to certain voices and tune other voices out. With the topic of abortion, that's an easy one for me, and I'll tell you like this: my wife was adopted. That means she was one doctor appointment away from not existing, and she's the love of my life. I am so grateful that she was born. I'm so grateful that I was born. I think her life is it's sacred. Not only that, we have 6 children. Our first 4 children are all adopted. They were all this close to not existing, but it was because some person wrapped their arms around those young girls and says, you can do this. This is a gift. This isn't a mistake. This is a miracle.
Yeah.
And you can be somebody's hero. If my wife had not been born, either would our 2 natural-born children have been born. So my whole life is made up of people that exist because they were not aborted. And so is everybody else's.
Yeah.
Even the people who are pushing to say, I will fight for your abortion, even though you don't realize you need one yet.
Yeah.
Girl, you were born. Right? You only get to say that.
Yeah.
Because you were born and you live in a country that allows you to say whatever you want because you have freedom of speech. and you're not going to get thrown in jail for doing what you do. And that was a right given to you by people who believe in a book that says God knew you before you were even born, while you were formed in the womb. So it's just a no-brainer for me.
Yeah. Yeah. My path as far as social media is concerned, I grew up ranching and rodeoing, and my path on the internet has been one of mainly comedy. And through the year, and I didn't necessarily plan it. And so through the years, it's just like, dang, how do I navigate the serious topics? Because, I feel that most people come to my page for comedy.
Yeah.
And so that is one that I do. I feel like I don't like to let a lot of time pass before I kind of make a stand. Like, it's just so important.
And can I encourage you to don't hesitate. Like rush into the opportunity to speak your heart and your mind about important things that you believe in. Because you know what? At the end of the day, we all love to laugh. I love to laugh at your comedy. Everybody loves to laugh and have a good time. But that can't carry us through the hard things, the challenges of life. And we all got challenges. We all got the hard things. I need to have something I can stand on, something I can believe in, something that's going to carry me through when I can't laugh.
Yeah.
Because I'm hurting. And I think that some of the most inspiring people about serious stuff are people who normally keep us laughing and are lighthearted. I'll give you an example. I never laughed at Robin Williams as a comedian. I didn't think he was funny.
Yeah.
But when he played a serious part, man, I thought nobody was better.
Right.
He was in some movies like, what's that movie? Good Will Hunting.
Yeah.
Right? Or Dead Poets Society. And I was just like, man, he's one of my favorite actors. But it wasn't when he was funny. I would laugh at Mork and Mindy once in a while, here and there. But because people have such a good time laughing with you, when you speak serious, they listen.
That's a good point. I could see that. Yeah. It is something I sometimes wrestle with. And obviously in a podcast format, it's easier to get more serious,
Yeah.
And so we put out 2 of those a week.
Then when you're on the back of a bull or you got, you're up to your shoulder in the mouth of a catfish.
Right.
It's not as easy to talk about serious things.
Yeah.
Maybe life and death.
Pick your moments.
In those moments.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
What's up, bro tater chip? If you're trying to get swole-o-matic like Dale Brisby, then go to mountainops.com and use code DALE for 20% off. That's where I get my protein. My creatine, I use a pre-workout called Yeti that is phenomenal. They've also got your everyday energy called Ignite. So go to mountainops.com. Otherwise, you ain't no cowboy. And please use code DALE. I wear Shady Rays because they fit my face. They block the sun, they look amazing, and they're affordable. And if you use code DALE on shadyrays.com, they'll be even more affordable to the tune of 40% off when you buy 2 pairs. So go to shadyrays.com and use code DALE. I love you all.
What do you have any more movie roles moving forward that you're working on that you're able to talk about?
Well, I'm doing a biopic on the life and the trials of Dale Brisby, but I can't really talk about it. I'm growing out my beard. I got to grow my hair out like a girl. And that's the hardest part about the whole thing. Because I want to be a method actor.
Right.
And I don't look good in hats. I kind of have a little pinhead and,
Everybody looks good in a cowboy hat, though.
Do they?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, man, I hope.
See if this fits you.
I hope he likes it.
I want to see how this looks on you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. See, this is what I'm talking about. And so.
Yeah, I guess I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, they're talking about recasting the lead part. Finding a different actor.
Yeah. Maybe you just produce it.
Brad Pitt. Maybe I could just produce it.
Direct it. Yeah.
Hey, I got a little children's TV show that I made when I was little. I used to watch all these great shows. I used to watch Happy Days. I watched Star Trek with William Shatner. I watched some of the older shows like Little House on the Prairie and stuff. But there was a show called Mr. Rogers, and there was Sesame Street. And I remember as a little kid watching those shows. And we don't have stuff like that anymore. I mean, now we've got, Miss Rachel and we've got other shows, Coco Melon and other stuff. But it's got like, Johnny's got two dads, and you've got gay dinosaurs, and
trans
you've got
kids
trans dolphins and things like this. And you're like, what in the world's going on?
Yeah.
So Brave Books, the guys and the girls who wrote this book with me, we got into the TV show business, and now we've got this generation's Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood for modern families. And it's called Iggy and Mr. Kirk. So I'm obviously Mr. Kirk, and I'm raising Iggy, who's my little 5-year-old iguana, and I'm raising him in my backyard treehouse with my wife and my daughter, and we got to teach him everything a little 5-year-old needs to know today about loving God, about the priority of your family, about telling the truth, overcoming your fears, about your identity, right? From who God says you are, not who my friends say I am or what my phone says I am. And he's got to navigate all these relationships with all the other animals that live in the forest, including a vulture named Culture, who is diabolical, and he is always lying to Iggy, deceiving him, telling him that right is wrong and wrong is right, and to essentially don't trust your parents, trust me. And he has help from a based ChatGPT supercomputer that he has bolted to the wall that tells him the actual truth about life. And he learns to value good things and fight to be free from bad things. It's called Iggy and Mr. Kirk, and it's on Angel, where you can watch The Chosen and all these other great shows, and it's on Brave Plus.
Is that Angel? Is that I guess it's an app you could get with any like smart TV.
That's right. You can get on your phone. You get on smart TV. It's called Angel. It's where people recently saw the David movie, The Great Awakenings there, as well as The Chosen's probably the most famous thing.
The David movie's on there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that kind of the centralized spot where people are going for that kind of content? It's one of them
for sure. You got PureFlix, you've got Angel, and for little kids stuff, 4 to 7 years old, Brave Plus has got all the old classics that we used to watch, Davy and Goliath and Bob the Builder and Strawberry Shortcake, and then the new stuff like my show, Iggy and Mr. Kirk, and about 50, 75 others that are all vetted so you can watch it and you can trust, because parents have gone in there and said, look, if this doesn't meet the standard, then it's cut and it's out.
Mm-hmm. Is that, the kids show animated, and then are you doing any other shows there, or is that all on your own?
That's the main children's show that I'm doing, but I have other shows. Like I've got my own podcast, and it's called The Kirk Cameron Show. Isn't that lame? It's just so boring. It's pretty like
everybody knows what it is when they see it.
And I was nervous to call it The Kirk Cameron Show because once you do, think of it. If you did, well, you're kind of there too, bro. Once you do the Dale Brisby Show, if it tanks, you don't get to go back and say, well, let me try that again and do the Dale Brisby 2 show.
Yeah, it's a good point.
It's over.
100%.
He's not the greatest bull rider no more. Right?
Yeah, so they'll never say that.
It's like it's now or never.
Right.
With your name on the title.
How many episodes in are you?
I think we're about 140 episodes in.
That's plenty. You've made it. Yeah.
So I'm having such a great time because I'm doing it with my sons. Mm-hmm. So my co-host is my son, James. My director, producer, editor is my son, Jack. And social media is my daughter. And so we're just having a great time in Tennessee. We escaped California a couple of years ago, and we're in the beautiful state of Tennessee, where the whiskey flows freely and hot chicken is all the rage. And I'm talking about faith, family, politics, pop culture, all through the lens of the Bible and trying to make clear sense out of the chaos. Mm-hmm. And I'm having a blast.
And most of the time you don't have a guest, right?
That's right. I don't have a guest, but I'd like to. Mm-hmm. Would you be my first guest?
Absolutely.
I want to do that because my son is about to peel off to his own show called
really?
Real Men. Mm. he's sick and tired of this crisis of fake masculinity that is plaguing his young generation, and he wants to understand and learn how to be an authentic man so that he could have a good life. And his friends aren't much help, and the church isn't much help, and the culture's not much help. And so he wants to talk to people like, well, I can't remember all the names of the guys that he listens to, but I bet he'd like to talk with you. And I need guests now to talk with me on my show.
Sure. No, I'd love to. Yeah. I mean, we just mainly, probably if he wanted to know anything about men in the cowboy world.
Yeah, he does.
That would be what?
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be so excited when he finds out that I was talking to you.
Yeah. No, I've come across a lot of what I would consider real men in my industry.
Yeah.
I think I've got a pretty good idea of what a...
You know who he likes? One of the guys he likes listening to is Dry Creek Wrangler. You heard of that guy?
Yes, older gentleman. He wears a cowboy hat.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about. He's been on a bunch of big podcasts.
Yeah.
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 I'm trying to remember his name, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he seems like a knowledgeable... He'd be a good guest.
Yeah.
I imagine.
Yeah, I think so. So that, and I got a couple other, I host a talk show on Monday evenings. It's called Takeaways. And so I get to talk to astronauts and physicists and relationship experts, politicians and educators. So I get educated by people way smarter than me. And I get to learn a lot. And that's how I like to live. Curious, asking questions, learning when I can, and then sharing it with others.
Which one do you feel like... are you more interested in these days, TV as opposed to, I guess, internet content? Being a man that's spent plenty of time in both now.
Yeah. I like that I am physically near my family. I'm a grandfather now, and I've got this little 2-year-old, and I want to take time to play with her. You know, I think there are different seasons and chapters in our lives, and for me in my 20s and 30s, man, I was climbing the mountain. I was wanting to build a career. I want to be successful so that I can support my family and do good things. And that takes a lot of time, and it was a lot of travel and meeting a lot of interesting people. But I realized that a lot of the photo albums that I was making did not include my wife and my children, because I'm in Washington, D.C. doing something with cool people there. I'm over in Texas or whatever on a set. And my wife is at home raising 6 children. We had 6 babies. And at one point, they were 7 years old and under.
Wow.
So they were like 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and 2. Okay?
Dang.
And so the house was always just full of activity. And I don't want to say I do miss it. So now that we have this what do you call it when the concert's over and you wave the lighter so the guy comes back out again?
Encore.
We got the encore with the grandkids.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. So I want to be there for that. I wouldn't classify myself as an absent dad by any means when I was younger with my children. I don't think they would say that either. But Dad traveled a lot, and they couldn't come with me because they were little kids. They were going to school. They were doing things, and my wife was committed to that responsibility there at home. So I like doing my podcast because I'm physically near my family. And I can be there for every Sunday night dinner and every coffee conversation or every cigar around the campfire with my son when he wants to talk about a girl.
Yeah.
I want to be there. And so I love that I don't have to fly to LA to do a movie.
Yes.
I can do my show in my garage.
Right.
And we homeschooled the kids. So we were with them all the time.
Oh, so you've always believed in homeschooling?
Well, no. Originally, our kids went to this great little Christian school that we found, a little diamond in the rough out there in Hollywood, California. But after the 6th grade, we didn't have a school that we thought was good for them to go to near us. And someone convinced us that we'd be better off learning how to live together as a family and read books about all different subjects than we would by just sending them off to the best school we could find, even though we didn't like it.
Amen.
So we did it, and it was one of the best things we ever did as a family. It's hard.
Especially since you were traveling so much. When you did come home, they were there.
They were there. That's right. And you know, this was what really gives me great compassion for military families. Imagine a man goes off to serve. He's, on duty for 6 months in some other place, experiencing God knows what, especially if he's a combat soldier, while his wife is at home taking care of everything. She's the CEO of her own Fortune 500 company back there with the kids, in charge of everything. And he's got to come home, and every time he comes home, is it the house under new management? Are we gonna share these leadership roles? How are we gonna integrate back together now that I've experienced what I have and I've lived a different way? And we've got to come back together. And guess what? In 3 months, I've got to go away again. And that's very challenging for people who have jobs that cause you to travel. And it became very important to be patient and to have order and get all the kids sleeping in their own beds and taking nap times at the same time. There was about a 30-minute window in the middle of the day where it was just like feet up time. Even if you're not going to sleep, you need your feet off the ground in your bed. You could read a book, you could stare at the ceiling, you could sing songs, do whatever you want. But that gave mom and dad time to just be together or take a nap ourselves and, recharge for the rest of the day.
Yeah. I feel like I'd be remiss if I didn't ask about your time during the filming of Growing Pains.
Sure.
Like, what was that chapter? I mean, how many? Wasn't it a crazy number of seasons?
It was 6 seasons, and
for some reason I thought it was over 10.
Yeah, I know. It felt like a lifetime to me because I grew up on
maybe
the
it's
show.
maybe it's because I just kept watching them after. It felt like that.
Yeah.
After the 6,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I feel like it was a huge part of my teenage life. And remember, that's when TV, we basically had 3 channels. You could choose from 3 shows at any given moment. You'd either turn on ABC, NBC, or CBS. It wasn't like now where you've got 5,000 channels and you can binge watch the whole season in a day.
Right.
You couldn't. You had to wait for the next Tuesday night to see the next episode of Growing Pains.
Yep.
And only had 2 other alternatives, basically. Yeah. And that was my life because I grew up there. That TV show family was essentially closer to me than my own family because I spent every day there, all day. And so it was a unique way to grow up, for sure.
Yeah. And that was 14 to
about 20, 21. The last year of the show, I fell in love with my on-screen girlfriend. I married Mike's beautiful girl, and we were married for the last season of the show.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, so that was super cool.
Yeah.
And we continued to work together on a couple of movies and another television show after that. And we've been married now for 35 years, 6 kids, and we're now enjoying this grandparent season.
Dang.
But Growing Pains was very unique. I loved it. It was hard. It was challenging. It produced unique pressures. Produce unique things, and I'm just grateful for my faith. And I'm not trying to go too hard on the faith thing here, but
I don't think you can.
It's a very challenging environment, but there are others. People could like that first world problem, Kirk. Come on, you were like famous on a TV show as a kid. You had everything handed to you with a silver spoon. You're probably driving a Ferrari, living in a mansion, and I didn't. I drove a Honda Prelude, and I lived in the same house that my dad fixed up when we were little kids. But how many Hollywood child actors can you name who turned out okay.
Right.
It's very difficult.
Right.
And I would have been probably on the cover of the National Enquirer with a gun in my hand, and you'd see the mug shot, or I'd be, leaving a wake of destruction behind me if it hadn't been for my faith in God. And I think C.S. Lewis said something like, the same sun that melts wax hardens clay. It depends on what you're made of. And the same pressure that pushed me to Jesus is the same pressure that drives others into the grave.
Yeah.
It depends on what you're made of. And I feel like God changed what I was made of. I used to be made of a love for what I wanted, and I've learned to be made of a desire to love God and love others.
Yeah.
And that will melt the pride rather than harden your heart.
Yeah. How do you view and handle pride? I know that's a vague question, but
Yeah, you were talking about pride. It's really important. I think it's the mother vice that gives birth to all the other vices. You talked about the 7 deadly sins, pride, greed, lust, wrath, sloth, envy. I think pride is where it all starts. Everything else is downstream of the fountain of the me monster.
yeah.
It's all about me. This is about what I want. This is about me first. I'm going to get what I can before you take it from me. And I wrote a book about it. That's what I did about it. I wrote a children's book about it. It's called Pride Comes Before the Fall. And I don't know if you heard about this, but I've been in trouble the last couple of years. I've been writing children's book about things like character and virtue. And I don't call me crazy, but I went to some public libraries and I wanted to have a story hour where I could read these children's books to kids. And the libraries that I chose, I thought would welcome me because they were all about diversity, equity, and inclusion. In fact, they had drag queen story hours going on at these libraries in Washington, D.C., and New York, and Los Angeles, Chicago. And they were reading their books to the kids about guys dressing up in skirts and fishnet stockings and heels and all that. And the libraries were okay with it.
Yeah.
But when I went there to talk about faith, hope, and love, it was a hard no. So that made the news, and we started going to these libraries because it's against the Constitution to discriminate against somebody in a public space from talking about the things that they want to say. And they hated it. And we followed that up with another book called Pride Comes Before the Fall. And that was a book about humility. Wasn't about being gay.
Right.
But we read it on the first day of Pride Month in the Seattle, Washington Public Library.
Or June, as most normal people call it.
Yeah. In my state, Tennessee, they just renamed June to Family Month.
Yeah.
Which I thought was pretty cool.
Love that.
So pride is bad. It's not to be celebrated. Pride is the sin that gives birth to selfishness and envy and sloth and wrath. And so let's replace pride with humility. And I think we don't need to spend too much time cursing the darkness. Let's just shine the light.
Yeah. Yeah, my dad had told me, and it was really until I read the Mere Christianity, the only time I'd ever heard somebody say something like this, but my dad had said, I've not ever, and I won't tell you, I'm proud of you. And he said, pride is a sin. And I was just like, yeah, but man, a lot of people say, and then C.S. Lewis said, some parents, when they say they're proud of their kid, they do mean pride in the sinful sense. But a lot of times that what they're saying is, I have a warm-hearted admiration for you.
Yeah.
And he, sometimes we we might say a word, and by definition it means this, but when we say it, like I think he also talks about the word gentleman. And 100 years ago, gentleman was a man of voting age, and he owned property, and it was a black and white definition of a gentleman. But then it became a compliment, because a lot of those men were kind, with firm handshake. So gentleman became more of a he's a gentleman. But
That's
really,
right.
it was a black and white word that was, you either were or you weren't.
Yeah.
And kind of like the word cowboy has become. But anyhow, regardless, so I think now that thinking about what my dad had said mixed with what C.S. Lewis said, I think a lot of people, when they say they're proud of someone, they're happy for their success.
Yeah.
And they're so glad that this person is doing well.
Yeah.
But then sometimes it does mean, and people do mean it in a prideful sense, in a competitive sense. And so
I'm glad you brought that
it's a tricky
up,
word.
because I think every son, every old son, wants to hear from his dad, especially, "I'm proud of you." There's something powerful about that. And I think every guy knows it. I think every girl knows it. She wants to know that her dad is proud of her and that her mom is proud of her. There's something essential about that. And if kids don't get that kind of, I'll call it a blessing, from their parents, they will find it somewhere else. They'll find it in a gang. They'll find it in a boyfriend. They'll find it in a girlfriend. They'll find it somewhere, because they want to know that they're worth something. They want to know that they have value, that they're important, and that there are people who love them, admire them, are grateful for them. And so I agree. It's tricky. Pride is a sin, but I want my kids to know that I'm proud of them. And maybe there's a better set of words to describe that, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, I think that, I don't correct people when I hear them say it, but just because, and also like using context, like I would say most of the time, like if a parent is sharing that with their kid, what they really mean is that,
Yeah.
They're just happy for them, rather than "I'm proud of you," which might mean like, "I'm glad my son did better than Jeff's son,"
Yeah.
which that's when it's because, anyhow.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it's neat. I'm excited about today. I'm excited about getting to visit with you, because I've watched you from a long time ago, and it's really encouraging to see someone take a stand consistently for essentially decades. Just consistent. Just, this is where. These are the decisions I'm going to make with my career, and this is how I feel about these important topics. And so, yeah, I appreciate your time. I don't want to eat up too much of your time. I know you've got another meeting, but
Thank you. That really does impact me. You're asking me earlier, how do, being in the internet world, how do words impact you? You saying that really means a lot to me, because I'm not unlike the world's greatest bull rider, I am not the world's greatest actor. I'm not the world's greatest father or husband. I'd like to be, but I know that I'm not. Just watch Left Behind or any of my movies, and you'll know that. But there's something valuable about just staying the course for 30 years. That just earns you respect. Just not throwing in the towel and quitting and diving off the cliff just because you feel like it, but sticking with something, whatever it is, and just being true to who you say you are. People are craving authenticity. In a world of make-believe and AI-generated realities, people want something authentic.
Yep, respect, and probably also peace.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I imagine there were maybe some shortcuts along the way that could have gotten you more money, but you would have lost the respect and lost your peace about it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Hey, I got something I wanted to ask you about.
Sure.
Did you know that I have been a carnivore for 3 years?
Really? I did not know that. Yeah.
And I asked that because I heard that you are.
Yeah, I dabble.
You dabble?
I dabble.
You dabble. Okay.
I'm pretty serious about it.
Okay.
If I find myself like in a bind off on a trip, sometimes I might cheat on my carnivore ways.
Yeah.
But
you might reach for the hoagie.
yeah, for the most part, I'd say 80,
You're not
20,
fanatic about it. Though.
80,
You're not
20.
like 80-20? Okay.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So that's how I like
8
my
days
ground
out
beef.
of 10. What are you shaking your head at? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
8 out of 10 days, 9 out of 10 days.
No, because I mean, you could tell. I mean, like sometimes people are just starting out on carnivore, and I get it. And usually it's a last ditch effort, when nothing else works. And by the way, if people are trying to just lose weight, usually, they're desperate. They'll do anything. Some people have medical problems, but carnivore puts Ozempic to shame, right? In terms of melting fat, it really does. I mean, you're not hungry because it's so satiating,
Right.
And it's amazing. Energy levels are just like dead flat all day long, but like at like an 8.
Yes.
Like it's so good. There's none of this, and but I could tell you've been doing it for a while because you're ripped.
Oh, well, thank you.
I mean, I was like, no, he's a real carnivore guy, because if you're not, you could tell, or you're just getting started, because it's been really cool for me and my wife and my mom and my dad and others have just found that we feel great. And
What made you start it?
I've just always been kind of a health conscious person. I've never wanted to be just like, fat and sedentary and sick. And I had a scare that I think was just indigestion that I thought was a heart attack. I mean, hey, reflux can feel like something crazy. You're going to die.
Right.
And so I went to the emergency room, and because I was Kirk Cameron, they said, well, let's give him the full workup and see how he is. And they like put a camera up in my heart, and there was an issue that they weren't expecting. And I was like, well, thank God we found this. And then they just said, well, you need to take all these drugs. And all of a sudden I was like, whoa, time out. Hold on. I'm like a healthy guy. They're like, yeah, but And so I started down that road, and I realized this is going to cascade into a whole medical thing. And then it was like that was kind of during COVID. I don't know about you, but like, I don't trust big pharma. I don't trust big food. I don't trust big anything.
Word.
And all of a sudden I'm going, you know what? This is a big crock. This is a scam. I don't believe any of this. And so I started looking into alternative things, and someone turned me on to a couple of legit doctors who were going, you know how much money they make off of just making you sick and then running downstream and then profiting off of selling you pills? Why don't you start eating a proper human diet? You don't see many fat squirrels out there. You don't see many obese birds out there, or tigers or dogs, unless they're eating the same kind of food you get at a store like you get.
Right.
And you'll make them as sick as you are. And I thought, that's interesting. What is a proper human diet? And as I began checking it out, I said, well, give it a try. So I started this carnivore thing, and I've been on it for 3 years. But after just about a month or two, I was like, man, there's some huge changes going on. And it's super cool.
How strict what do you eat?
It's essentially beef, lamb, eggs, chicken, seafood, dairy. And so, double bacon, blue cheese burgers and ribeyes and sashimi and
Just no
chicken
bun
wings.
on the burgers?
Just no bun. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's really all the sugar and the starchy carbs that are all gone.
So like no fruit or anything?
Because my wife is looking for a little bit more variety, and she was already a size 2, she's tiny.
Right.
And carnivore will take you down to a size -2
Yeah.
if if you don't fatten easily. And so we've started to incorporate some things like, broccoli and avocados and celery and cucumbers and some blueberries and nuts here and there. But essentially, that's like a ketogenic diet. And carnivore is just like keto 2.0.
Yeah. I had Marcus Luttrell on a couple months ago, and he fasted for 40 days.
Did he?
40 days, water fast. He would add 1 cup of coffee in the mornings.
And he did it for 40 days.
40 days.
Man.
And lost like 70 pounds. And he, anyhow, talked to him. We talked for a couple hours about it. And
that's so interesting, right? But a lot of people are surprised to hear that it's actually possible. Because I've thought in my mind, like, how did Jesus go 40 days in the wilderness?
Yes.
Is that human? Well, he was Jesus. So, right, he could walk on the water. He could fast 40 days. But you're saying a guy did this.
Yeah. Mark, he's a former Navy SEAL. You remember the movie Lone Survivor?
Yeah.
That's who it was about.
Okay.
And So anyhow, I started. There's a lot of people fasting now, and I felt bad. I felt convicted because as a Christian, I had not fasted in years, like for spiritual reasons, and so I started to slowly, little day and a half type deal here and there. But I have found that, and the mental clarity during a fast is just insanity. Like do you fast often?
I do occasionally. I think the longest I've gone though has been 72 hours, and so three full days. And people who have never done that, they don't know the benefit that you're talking about, autophagy and the mental clarity and things that come into it. But it's interesting how after you get past 24 hours, the hunger cues just quiet right down. And I hear that after about 30 days, 40 days, when you get to the point where it's like now your body is now beginning to go after itself because at some point a fast is bad, right? Eventually you're going to starve,
right?
But prior to that, there's a lot of good things going on, cleaning out of old junk cells and things that have just been stuffed away in the corners, and that's really good for you.
It was when you brought up the doctor thing. That was what. Nobody suggests, do a fast and just eat meat.
Yeah.
But the thing that turned me kind of towards in the direction of carnivore, my dad died of a heart attack. And so I've always kind of been a little bit interested in it.
Yeah.
And I read of I want to say it was Harvard, maybe said something that like even Fruit Loops were more healthy than beef.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is absurd. And it made me just kind of, and that was about the time when people, I feel like recently a lot of people have come around to the food pyramid being a scam.
Yeah.
And so, and then I heard, and please fact check me on this, but it was on maybe Michaela Peterson's podcast, but that 50% of people that died of heart attack did not have high cholesterol.
Correct. I've studied this stuff because I don't want to have a heart attack, and I eat a lot of meat.
Yes.
And so I've learned about this. If you Google a guy named Ansel Keys, and you learn about the kind of the fat heart hypothesis. Essentially, what had happened in the 1950s is that skyrocketing strokes and heart attacks were scaring the nation. What in the world's going on? And then one of our presidents died of a heart attack. And everyone wanted to find out who the culprit is. What's going on? Why is this happening? And essentially, I don't want the FDA coming after me, by saying too much. But the culprit essentially that I think was the dietary villain that everybody was eating because they found a way to industrialize and sell some waste products in the food industry. They framed saturated fat, which is found in meat. And they hired a guy named Ansel Keys, and you go into Harvard and all of these places, that essentially said, industrialized seed oils are okay. Sugar is fine. That's nothing to see here. It's this saturated fat that contains all this cholesterol that is clogging your arteries and giving you heart attacks. And so all of a sudden, everything became fat-free, heart healthy, low cholesterol, and you go for high fiber, fine processed grains and seed oils and make it taste good with lots of sugar. And now you got chips and cereals and tortilla chips, all this kind of stuff. And then heart attacks continue to rise. And we've been more unhealthy now in this country than ever before. Obesity, diabetes, chronic illness is what's killing everybody in America. And you go over to Europe and other places where they're kind of eating basic fruits and vegetables and stuff that they kill or catch or raise, and they're a lot happier and healthier.
Yeah.
You know, it's not rocket science. And so I started going down that road.
Yeah, it makes so much more sense. And it also fits that, you know, like nobody trusts the government. Well, that's who gave us the food pyramid. So
Yeah, and now they've changed it. You know, that's kind of cool. They took the food pyramid. You ever do that? You switch the letters around?
all the time.
I did that once and embarrassed myself in front of a bunch of college students. That's for another story. But they turned the food pyramid around, and basically it's kind of upside down now. And now all of a sudden, you know, it used to be eat your daily servings of oatmeal and grains and high fiber stuff, and now it's a lot more animal-based, protein-based. They're talking about good saturated fats now, cream and butter. Eggs are okay. In fact, they're kind of like the perfect food. They got everything there. I mean, you need everything you need to make a chicken is inside that egg. You can't even say that about a steak. If you want to make a cow, you don't have all the components in a ribeye, right? But if you want to make a chicken, you got everything you need. You got the protein, you got the fat, you got everything in that egg.
it looks great on paper. It's not going to make me enjoy eggs more than a ribeye, though.
Yeah, that's true. But if you have a burger and you put a fried egg over the top of it, and you add some bacon and you get your favorite cheese in there, man, that's good.
Oh, man.
I had a steak last night. It was good.
Where at?
It was a hanger steak. It was in Waco. One of the best meals I've had in my life. Oh, so good.
Yeah.
It was a restaurant. I think it was called the Red Herring. And man, I had some killer redfish. And because I'm a carnivore, I'm not eating all the mashed potatoes and the pasta that comes on the side. So I order a second entree. And then for dessert, I order a hanger steak.
Yeah.
And so it gets expensive when you go out. So I like to cook at home mostly.
100%. I understand that 100%. Yeah, there's something, a pound of hamburger meat at the house with a bunch of cheese in it is just the way to go.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's making me hungry.
We normally wrap up with life advice. I know you've already kind of given me a lot of it already, but do you have a Kirk Cameron line that you
I don't. I don't. I'm not that smart. You know, it's much safer to go with a C.S. Lewis quote, you know, for life advice. And I haven't memorized many of them. I love, how about this? How about we close with C.S. Lewis and then one surprise sage.
Okay.
C.S. Lewis talks about loves, and he talks about this interesting thing that we do, that God had given us these wonderful things. It could be a wife, it could be sex, it could be health, it could be children, it could be working, all these wonderful things. He says, but if you take the good things and you turn them into gods, you take things that are great and wonderful, but you deify them and make them your ultimate things, they'll cease to be good and they will become devils that will destroy you. And I've realized that's true. You could take any good thing in your life, and it's a genuinely good thing, objectively, but if you elevate it to a position where you are now making the gift more important than the giver, it has become an idol, and it will kill you.
Dang.
That's C.S. Lewis. I'm saying that man's mind is a gift to humanity, isn't it?
I agree.
Mere Christianity.
Yeah.
That's a great book to start with.
Oh man.
And then, not to be outdone, I'd like to end with a quote from a man who lived in Middle Earth. His name was Gandalf the Grey. And Frodo was lamenting all of the evil and darkness that was surrounding them. And Gandalf comforted Frodo with these words. He said, Frodo, other evils there are that shall come. For even Sauron himself is but a servant or emissary. Yet it is not our task to master all the tides of the world, but rather to do what is in us. For the years in which we have been set, to uproot the evil in the fields we know, so that those who live after us may have clean earth to till. What evil they shall face is not ours to rule. And I love that. I think Gandalf got it right. It is so easy to be discouraged and feel despair when we look at the world and how dark it seems to be getting politically, morally, spiritually, economically. It just seems like the bad guys win. It seems like the wicked are prospering and the good guys get the short end of the stick, and you wonder if it's really worth it to stand by your values. And he's pointing out that God has not tasked us to eliminate every evil person in the world. In fact, if that were the task, somebody would have to eliminate me, because I got a little bit of evil inside of me.
Amen.
But rather, it's to do what we can while we have air in our lungs during the years that God's placed us on the stage of his world, to uproot evil in the fields we know. For me, that's Hollywood and media. For you, it's in the bull riding world. You might pull some of those couple of evil catfish out of a pond. Yeah. And then I think, while we're at it, plant some seeds of truth, of goodness, of beauty in the hearts and minds of your kids and the people in your life, so that when they grow up, they'll have cleaner earth to till and plant their gardens and build their house. And they'll know what to do with the unique challenges in their generation, because they were raised by a dad like you, or like me, or a mom, like the women good women in our life. And we've raised them and led them by example.
Yeah.
That's what I think we need to do. And I think Gandalf the Grey has got great life advice in that.
Man, I love that, because that is exactly how I feel sometimes, looking around. I love that. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming. Oh, I gotta. This is a sponsor of the podcast, Texas Precious Metals. That's a silver coin, Texas round in there. Yeah.
That's
kind of
awesome,
hard to
man.
open, but
I want some of your swag.
I brought some caps too.
Do you know, about a year and a half ago, I bought your old son hat, and I sent it to my uncle, who is a real cowboy.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
Dang.
I know. But he always would say that to me. He'd say, "What are you doing, old son?" And I was like, wait a minute. I just think I found the original old son, and I looked on your website and I found that hat, and I sent it to him for Christmas.
That's awesome.
And I just thought I found the perfect gift.
In the early days, I would have, seen every order that came through.
Really?
And so when a friend or, a Kirk came, I would have seen it, But these days now anymore, I'm on the road doing a podcast while I got the team filling orders at the house. Yeah. But that's super cool. I love that.
Yeah, so I got to get some more of that.
Yeah, well, I brought some rodeo
stuff.
time cash. I should have brought one that said old son. Dang, that's awesome. I'll send you some.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, on to the next one, everybody.
Thank you, man.
Y'all check out Kirk's book coming out, that's come out, Built by the Brave, all the children's books, and look out for the show on Angel.
That's right.
Pow, pow, and on to the next one.